Ah, yes, artwork. It's many things: expression, story, and experience to the observer, a glimpse into another's soul. Alright, I'm bullshitting. Truth be told, I don't really know anything about that abstract, high-browed kind of art that gets put into museums, movies, books, YouTube videos. I mean, I like to think I know a little bit about those art forms, but all that fancy material stuff like paintings, statues, and sculptures, I'm more likely to accidentally hang my jacket on it rather than appreciate its commentary on the American condition, or whatever it's trying to do. But I decided to try and change that. On a distant campus to the south of Chicago sits the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park, a self-described, quote, volunteer-supported campus park offering 29 sculptures on over 100 acres of green prairie landscape, end quote. I visited to expose myself to another corner of the art world. Oh, it's a hot one, folks. I don't know. There just seems to be a specifically thick feeling to the air today. There's nobody else here, so it's just me. Not that I'm complaining. I think it'd feel good to kind of walk around the area a little bit more myself. Get a sense of what the place feels like. You know, the thing that I love so far about this place and other kind of artsy places like this is like something I would never make. That I can't believe somebody came out here and they looked at this spot and you're like, you know what? It's exactly what's gonna go here. I look over there and there's what appears to be a UFO-like object has landed in the grass. The hell is this? Is it a UFO or is it like a piece of charcoal or something? I gotta know. Came at the perfect time of day for the bench to be in the shade. According to the info panel, this sculpture is aptly named Flying Saucer. Its shape and size are meant to be reminiscent of black holes and outer space, or even of an organic alien life form itself. Not having any barriers or rails or glass of any kind surrounding it, I was able to get up close with the sculpture, something I'd never be able to do in a museum environment. Flying Saucer is placed directly across from another sculpture that's quite a different story. Phoenix, as it's called, trades lumpy curves for a more rigid, angular construction, but it does look similarly alien, and I gotta admit, I was kinda digging the orange on white color scheme. Visually, it's got a nice aesthetic to it that I like. Does it look like I'm in the future? Or like I'm sitting in front of another alien craft? I guess this one kinda looks a little less alien than the other one, but it's still pretty alien. I don't know, it looks a little bit futuristic to me. Like it's kind of an odd color scheme. I don't feel like you see that enough in the real world. And there's an eccentricness to it too. You have you're in this natural setting, you're surrounded by the forest, you're surrounded by the trees, and then right smack dab in the middle of it, you've got this, and this is just sticking out like a sore thumb, but in a good way. It contrasts everything around it, and I love it. I think so far this is my favorite one of the ones that I've seen. I like that you can kind of sit on it. There's nothing saying that you can't sit on it, so I continued on. The fascinating sculptures I continued to stumble upon stoked my curiosity, sweeping me further into the park. It started to become less a visit and more a quest to see what else lay out there. You know, it's really cool to me that this, I guess it's a university that has this for its students. It has this for its, campus population to come out and experience and enjoy. This is so big and vast, and I'm actually not even sure if I'm going to be able to see all of them for this video. It's already kind of wiped me out seeing the 5 that I have. I wish we had this kind of stuff at the university that I went to. There we had bars, and I'm going to take this opportunity to give you a little bit more history about the place. Located on the campus of Governor State University, the park was formally established in 1978. It was named for Nathan Manilow, a visionary developer. According to their website, people were building sculptures on the land before it was even officially a campus or a park. The first sculptor was Mark de Souvero, whose presence actually attracted other artists to the area, and they too created sculptures. According to the USA Reader's Choice Awards in 2021, the Nathan Manilow Sculpture Park, or the Nate as it's affectionately called, was voted the best sculpture park in America. You see that thing up there? I don't know how they've got it all jerry-rigged up there. I'm not an engineer. But that is like just roped up there, and as the breeze comes, it's like gently swaying back and forth. They're just hanging there, man. That's insane. For those who are curious, remember Mark DeSuvero, the first sculptor on the property? Well, this one was one of the first he made. Now, what was his inspiration, you ask? Well, in 1960, DeSuvero got pinned above a freight car and nearly died. After the experience, he naturally decided to learn arc welding, which he used to make this, an artful combination of salvaged beams and the remnants of a railroad tank car, and he decided to call it Yes for Lady Day. Apparently the title is a reference to jazz and swing music singer Billie Holiday. Her nickname was Lady Day. Exhausted by my hike, I started to make my way back around the big lake and start heading back toward the campus. And I think I stumbled upon what might be the biggest sculpture on the entire property. Measuring 134 feet in length, seeming to balance itself effortlessly, this eye-catching piece was created by sculptor John Henry and has had a presence on the campus for nearly 50 years. It's known as the McDonald's French fries. Alright, just kidding. God, that'd be funny though, wouldn't it? But no, it's actually named Illinois Landscape Number 5. Why is it called that? I'm not really sure. I'm getting information on these sculptures from the park's info panels, and they don't go into too much detail. But you know, I experienced a lot out here in the park. Seeing, interacting with, and reading about each piece, maybe I learned a thing or two about what goes into these things. So I'm going to give my interpretation of why this piece is called what it is. Okay, here goes. Its shape and color are somewhat reminiscent of ears of corn, which is a common crop here in Illinois. The way it stretches across the landscape may be a reference to the rolling fields of corn upon entering the more rural parts of the state. Why number 5? Well, why not number 5? Fields of corn are a common sight in Illinois. I mean, there's so many that the only way you could keep track of all of them is if you labeled them with numbers. So maybe it's a reference to how systemic and organized Illinois agriculture is. But hey, that's just my interpretation. Alright, so maybe I'm still not the best at art analysis, but I do think this trip gave me more appreciation for it, even if it was just a little bit, and I'm happy, because that was the goal. It took imagination and a great deal of engineering skill to build these things, and I'm kinda really impressed by it. It was also really fascinating to read about what perspectives the sculptures were trying to represent. And also, of course, they were really beautiful to look at. Even after returning home, as I went through the raw footage, I found myself getting enthralled by the art pieces all over again, and then thinking about what they were trying to say about the world we lived in, and what they were trying to say about the people living in it.